Today I fucked up by having a one-night stand. This has been gilded 7 times, so it must be good, right? So, a good friend of mine invited me to a cowboy-themed drag show he was putting on as a fundraiser for a pretty bad flood that happened in our area recently. I accepted and showed up on time, but realized pretty quickly that on time is early, and no one really shows up early anymore. Should have known. After the obligatory hellos and how you doings to my buddy and the other folks running the event, I found the bar and settled in. Drink in hand, I began scoping out the few people that had trickled in since I arrived. I didn't really expect to find anyone I'd be into at this event, but hey, I'd gone through a pretty bad breakup a couple of weeks prior and was feeling desperate for some action. You did say this was a drag show, right? How desperate are you? After chatting with the bartender for a while, I finished my second drink, feeling a little loose. I turn around to check out the new arrivals, and I notice an old friend of mine sitting alone at the table on their phone. I walk over, say hello, and we begin to catch up. I hadn't seen Angela in about a year, and find out she was in from out of town and meeting up with a few of the folks I planned on seeing this evening as well. Score! We'd always had mutual attraction to each other, but never acted on it since I had always been in a relationship. Obviously, I'm thinking that shouldn't be a problem now. The night progresses and we meet up with all our mutual friends. We drink, we dance, we have a blast. Everything is going well, and her and I are really hitting it off. Once the show ends, someone suggests we go to another bar, and as a group, we all agree. Everyone is already quite drunk, so inhibitions are pretty low. Angela and I make out on our way to the bar, and I'm feeling like a boss-ass player. Okay. 1 or 2 bars later, and we end up at the after-hours dance club. It should be noted that Angela and I are pretty drunk at this point, and I convinced myself that I'm some sort of amazing dance god. You drunk right in this? Angela and I pretty drunk at this point, and she's digging it, even if I'm struggling to keep from falling down, so I go in for the kill. You aren't coming for my place? I asked right before the beat dropped, so I never actually heard what she said, but it was something along the lines of, sure, I guess. Fuck yes, I'm the best. I call an Uber and we start heading towards my apartment. She has a stop at 7-Eleven to get her a toothbrush, and I grab an ice cream sandwich. This night is going way better than I thought it would. We get home and our clothes start flying off. My buddy had given me a couple of Viagra a while back, so I pop one? Viagra? How old are you? I didn't want to get whiskey dick, so it seemed like a good idea at the time. Oh yeah, I guess limpness is a problem when you people are fucking drinking. We start going at it, and the Viagra kicks in. My Tony Stark turns into Iron Man. For about 15 minutes, we have amazing sex. I feel like such a boss. She flips over and prepares herself to ride reverse cowgirl. I remember thinking, things seem a little dry down here, just before she slams down on the saddle. You know that moment when you're in so much unexpected pain that your brain doesn't even really register it? You know something bad just happened, but you don't really feel it yet. That's about where I was in that moment. I shout in pain and push her off. I look down at my boy, and blood is shooting out of the front. Literally shooting out. The Viagra and high alcohol content are pumping out blood like the fucking Bellagio fountains. I run to the bathroom holding my junk and jump into the bathtub. She comes careening in after me, shouting, asking what happened. I shout, tell her to shut up and take a deep breath before examining the damage. Turns out her forceful mount and lack of lube put an abnormal amount of stress on my bowstring, frenulum is the technical term, and popped the little guy right in half. So here I am, sitting naked in the shower, unwillingly rock hard, drunk and bleeding an impressive amount. She becomes hysterical, starts crying, and calls her Dr. Dad. Why her dad? Well, apparently he's a doctor. Apparently she thinks he can give her some advice or home remedy to fix my broken bar string at 4 in the morning. Yeah, I don't think so. You know what this guy says? Why are you talking to me? Take him to the hospital. Thanks, Angela's dad. Real helpful. After about 15 minutes, the bleeding slowed slightly, but I'm starting to feel pretty woozy. The shock of the situation finally subsides, and I began laughing uncontrollably. I think this is what's happening to me right now. Everything I've done in life has led me up to boner bleeding in the shower. This is what I've become. Angela puts some clothes on and grabs her keys to the car. She tells me to get out of the shower and meet her out front to go to the ER. I tell her she better Yelp the best one because I'm not having some 4-star doctor handle my precious wounded hog. She's not very happy with me at the moment. As I shamble out of the shower and gingerly put some clothes on, I look around for the nearest object to carry my broken junk in. Maybe a smart person would grab a towel, but nope. I grab a wide-mouthed mason jar that was sitting on the counter and tuck my dick and balls into that. Why both? It was just more comfortable that way. The blood isn't coming out as much at this point, but I still have an erection. Pants pulled to my thighs and holding the bloody mason jar between my legs, I walk outside and get in the car. We drive 5 minutes to an urgent care, 5-star rated on Yelp, of course. And I walk in, and there with all my glory showing and no fucks to give. There's a few people in the waiting room, but the guy behind the counter doesn't want me sitting in there with them because my pants aren't pulled up, so I get the VIP treatment and see the doctor right away. I explain the situation to Dr. Ted while Nurse Carolyn takes my mason jar and throws it away. I mean, I didn't want it back, I guess. Ted is in his late 60s, and Carolyn isn't far behind in age. Ted gets the thing clean and puts pressure on it, and when he drops the bad news, OP. The bleeding isn't really going to stop without putting pressure on it. I don't want to stand here all night and hold your cock, so we're gonna have to stitch it up. Nope. I ask if there's anything else we can do. Literally anything else. Glue, Band-Aid. Carolyn puts pressure on it. No dice. In the last effort, I ask for some sort of anesthetic, but he explains that would be more painful than just getting the stitches. Carolyn holds my hand. I glare at Angela. Ted puts 3 stitches in. I cried. We all bonded. Angela and I drove back to my place in silence. She left back to her hotel shortly after we got back. We haven't talked since, but I like to think the conversation with her dad the next day was very awkward. 3 days later, I got the stitches out. Ted and Carolyn weren't there, so I had to explain the story to a whole new set of people. They laughed a lot. I let them a 5-star review on Yelp. Yeah, you did the right thing. Too long didn't read. I thought I was a boss-ass bro getting a one-night stand. Ended up breaking my dick and going to the ER. You Viagra using pieces of dry pussy capture and edit. Thanks for helping me get to the front page. Oh God. The top comment reads, so a good friend of mine invited me to a cowboy-themed drag show he was putting on as a fundraiser. Not gonna lie, I expected this to go into everybody did. We all did. We were all along for that ride, so, you know, the fact that it went different, you know, it was glorious. I'll see you guys tonight. That was a fucking long one. How long is this video? 9 minutes. 10 minutes of your time you'll never get back. And they call him Kyle. See you guys tonight. Oh.